Expressed by the hosts of this show have captivated a nation and continue to do so. The era of Limbaugh, dominant influence continues during this, the decade of fraud and deceit. Glad you're with us, folks. The bake sale, 24 hours from now, will be in full swing in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's the weekend, and it means it's time for good cheer.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program.
Righto.
America Held Hostage.
You got it, pal.
And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Day 122 of the hostage crisis known as the Raw Deal, the Clinton presidency. And the fabric and fiber holding it together is unraveling. Not unraveled, but is in the process of unraveling. It's also Friday, and
live from New York, it's Open Line Friday.
Callers choose the topics which are discussed on Open Line Friday. That phone number, 1-800-282-2882. Bo Snerdley screens calls and is awaiting yours. We'll soon be talking to Oklahoma Senator David Boren, who called earlier today to explain his position on the alternative budget proposal that he and a bipartisan group of senators have made. They've had their proposal rejected. Actually, not rejected. They haven't even had a chance to talk with the administration about it. They're a little miffed. And I asked the senator if he'd go on the program today and let him tell you himself his side of this and say a little bit why he's angry. So here he is, Senator David Boren from Oklahoma. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, Rush. Good to be with you.
Now, I have brought people up to speed as to just what has transpired from day one in terms of the president's proposal and then his command to anybody who opposed it to present specifics, a better plan.
Right.
I pointed out that Republicans in the House did, but that the president said, no, I want a bipartisan proposal, and didn't listen to theirs, look at it. It wasn't discussed. So you came back, and I think there's been a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong in this too, because this was part of the setup. I said there have been a lot of conservative Democrats in both the House and Senate who have been a little bit alarmed at the president's leftist approach to this economy and the whatever policies are going to be implemented to fix it. And as such, you've tried to come up with, using his own advice and suggestions, a bipartisan plan that cuts the deficit more than his, raises taxes less, and it's been summarily rejected. Is that basically it?
That is basically right. That's exactly what has happened. In a sense, we're saying, let Clinton be Clinton. You remember back during the campaign and even after he spoke to the joint session, he said, let's get the deficit down. We all agree with that. And he said, let's do it mainly with spending cuts. And I think the American people are willing to make some sacrifices, but they want to know we're going to cut spending first. And so now he presented us with a plan that mainly is tax increases, $270 billion of tax increases, only $170 billion of spending cuts. We've reversed that, and we've presented another option to the Congress, the option of mainly cutting the deficit by reducing spending. And we have in our plan a ratio of 2-to-1 spending cuts against tax increases. And this is the first time, and it's, I think, good news to Americans, because the people I hear from back home say, why don't you Republicans and Democrats quit fighting, get together, work for the good of the country? We've done that. And we presented a plan, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, to help the president keep his campaign promise of cutting the spending, and we're still waiting for a call to see if he'll even talk to us.
Now, this is amazing to me. Here, I can't believe We heard all during the campaign that gridlock was over. The Republicans didn't have the votes to stop anything, and finally government was going to function again. The people had elected not only the president, but the members of the House and Senate. Clearly they desired a democratic approach to things, or a Democrat approach to things, and so here we go. And now listen to you. You're talking about how you've joined forces with Republicans in opposition to the president's plan. They won't talk. If I'm not mistaken, you have voted on legislation to date with the president. This looks like the first time you may stray. Are you in any trouble of having Richard Shelby disease?
No, I don't think so. In fact, I've been on the floor managing the president's campaign reform bill today, and I'm not out to fight the president on everything. In fact, sometimes when you see a friend going astray, the best thing you can do is to tell a friend the truth. And as I said to someone else,
but you're hammering him on this. I mean, you're sounding like a pardon my glee here, but you sound like a conservative Republican.
Well, Rush, what I think I was sent up here to be, even ahead of being a Democrat, is a good American. And I think that if we're going to be good Americans, we've got to get this deficit under control, and he doesn't, in his plan, touch 46% of all the spending, the entitlements. That's where the big spending increases have come. So, believe it or not, and I know when politicians say this, people sometimes wonder, I really think that by being a good Democrat, I ought to be a good American first. And, people back home, some people said, oh, you shouldn't be talking to Republicans. That's terrible. Some of the Republicans who are working with us were told you shouldn't talk with Democrats. I think that's what the people back home want us to do, and that's what we're trying to do.
Well, have you heard, is it the people back home influencing you on this? There's been I read the report in the Washington Post. Somebody want to take a swipe at you that you've been set upon by these lobbyists who are giving you thumbs up and thumbs down from the audience.
Well, Rush, when you talk about who it is that I'm listening to, one, I'm listening to my conscience, because I don't want 3 years from now to have voted to raise everyone's taxes, not control the spending, and have people come back to me and say, we got big tax increases and we didn't get the deficit down. That's what's happening. That is so profound, because you are a Democrat. You are a powerful senator on the Finance Committee from Oklahoma, and you have just said you don't want to be remembered 3 years from now as a Democrat who voted for tax increases. Now, I tell my audience that the country is far less oriented toward tax increases than either Clinton or Perot really think. And I think it's actions such as yours and others in Congress and the Senate who have to listen to their constituents here are obviously getting that message. We're getting that message all over. It's not that the people are not willing to pay some taxes, but they don't want to do it all with taxes. And, they say to us, how can you prove to us that if we pay more taxes, you folks up there won't just go spend it? Right. So we've got to prove it by cutting the spending first, and that's what's not happening.
Are you surprised by that? Are you surprised that the president has taken this approach? Did you believe what he said using the Democratic Leadership Council rhetoric during the campaign?
I am surprised. Here's the thing. There's an old saying, those whom the gods would destroy, they first grant their wishes, and I think the president gets his wish here. Passes this just as it is, mainly taxes, not going to really get the deficit down enough. It's going to ruin him. And, the odd thing about it, too, is this, Rush. He said he was a new kind of Democrat. I still think perhaps he, in his own mind, thinks he is. But what have the headlines been saying? Day after day. President goes to put pressure on moderate Democrats. President sides with liberal Democrats to bash moderate Democrats.
Right.
Well, it's time. If the president is a new kind of Democrat, as we hope he will, and for the good of the country, let's hope he will be, I'd love to see a headline to say, President sides with moderate Democrats, pushes liberal Democrats to cut more spending.
Precisely right, because he portrayed himself as a moderate Democrat during the campaign, and in fact had to convince people he was, or he wouldn't have been elected.
That's exactly right, and I think that's why the people are upset. Someone asked me today, they said that after I heard the president's speech to the joint session of Congress, I was very elated by it. And they said, now you seem unhappy. Well, that's true, because the president's speech, he sounded the right themes. Let's get the deficit down. Let's be tough and really cut some of the tough spending. No sacred cows. But then when the plan came back, it really undershot the expectations of the people, because it came back not taking on the entitlements at all, And, we're doing some ridiculous things. For example, we are subsidizing the Medicare premiums of retired people with incomes over $150,000 a year. Yet no one is paying the health insurance premium for, say, a working middle-income person. Now, that's, there are all sorts of crazy things going on,
well, now that gets
and they're not touched.
That gets to another point, too, and that is he's continuing. I saw him, and I think this is a mischaracterization of your proposal from what I've seen of it, but he's using class envy and warfare even against you.
Well, no, that's true, and that's disappointing, and I think he's acting on bad advice about that. For example, the BTU tax.
But it stood him well, Senator. I mean, that's how he got elected. It's how he got elected in '92 by creating the. See, I really think myself, and this is why I'm afraid of him. I think he's trying to drive a wedge forever between the suburban middle class and the upper class by creating this idea in the middle class that they're never going to be upper class, and they always ought to resent those who are because they unfairly benefit. And he's causing disincentive to investment, and he wants to punish achievement. And it's
well. I don't know whether I would agree with you about all of that, but I would agree with you about this. Creating more division in the country is not a good thing, and class warfare rhetoric is not a good thing, and, Democrat versus Republican rhetoric is not a good thing. And that's the reason, I felt so good yesterday standing up there with three senators I respect, one Democrat, two Republicans, 2 and 2. And we were sending a message to the American people. American people, there's some of us here in Washington who don't want to play political games. We want to be about uniting the country, develop a fair plan that cuts the spending. Yes, it raises some taxes, but cuts the spending more. Let's all get in the same boat and be Americans together. And then we're answered with an attack that is really class rhetoric and divide one group against another. That's disappointing to me.
No, but it's worked for him. Now, you were going to say BTU tax. I rudely interrupted you.
No.
What is the status of the whole tax bill?
Well, the BTU tax, that was another thing that was said today. Oh, you're from Oklahoma. Then you must not be capable of being in the national interest. You're just looking after the interests of the oil companies. And one congressman was quoted today saying, well, you're taking money out of the pockets of the poor and putting the hands in the pockets of the oil companies. Well, the BTU tax, and Americans are smart enough to follow this, it's not being collected from the oil companies. They're not collecting it at the wellhead. They're not even going to collect the tax from the pipeline.
That's right.
They're not even collecting the tax from the utility. They're collecting it on the consumer's bill. The consumers are paying it.
From you.
But whether you're middle income or lower income or upper income, that's one thing where all Americans are in the same boat. They're all going to be paying this tax. And to imply that just because someone's from Oklahoma, they can't be fighting to do something in the national interest, I don't think that's quite fair.
Well, it sounds like that there is some unraveling going on of this coalition, and you have to be expecting some retaliatory strikes or hits here for this.
Well, I hope not, and I've made it clear, for the sake of the country, we just have one president at a time. I don't want to destroy the Clinton presidency. I want it to succeed. I would dearly love to see him come back to meeting the slogan of a new kind of Democrat, one that is moderate and centrist. And so I feel like I'm not here trying to drive a wedge. I'm trying to rescue his course of behavior, get it back on course again, so that he can succeed as president. And that's really what I want to see happen.
You think when are you up for re-election?
Not till 1996.
Are your fortunes tied to him, do you think?
Well, I don't know. I think people in Oklahoma know that I'm pretty much of a maverick. I've been a person that's always followed what I thought was my own conscience and followed by what I thought was in tune with the people that sent me to Washington. After all, I worked for them.
Well, it's great to talk to you. I'm glad to have met you on the phone, and best of luck to you in your endeavors.
Thanks very much, and thanks for giving a chance to get a little balanced treatment of what we're trying to propose.
That's what we're about here, Senator, the pursuit of the truth.
Thanks very much.
You bet. Oklahoma Senator David Boren, who is having trouble getting the administration to talk with him about an alternative budget proposal, their deficit reduction proposal. Happy to have him with us as we relentlessly pursue the truth on the EIB network. Remember, he is a Democrat. He is one of 11 Democrats on the Senate Finance Committee, where there is only a one-vote margin, 11 to 9, a one swing vote. So we'll take a break and be back. We have a cellular call out of Baker City, Oregon, with a traffic report. Traffic report on a national radio show. Where else would that ever happen but here? Back in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network. The press tells us AIDS is spreading rapidly and that everyone in America is at risk. And AIDS activists say we must spend billions to find a cure. But are you getting the truth about AIDS, or the biggest medical lie in history? Now, the American Spectator reveals why the heterosexual AIDS explosion never happened and never will. How gay activists use political pressure to block early efforts to screen the blood supply and slow the spread of the infection. How the billions spent on AIDS threaten research on cancer and heart disease, which kill far more people. The AIDS lobby and its Hollywood allies terrify the liberal news media, but they don't frighten the American Spectator. Subscribe now, and they'll rush you their free investigative report on AIDS. Call 800-872-3999. For $29.95, you'll get 12 issues of the American Spectator and their free report, The Truth About AIDS. Call 800-872-3999. Ask for the American Spectator. 800-872-3999.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, for 27
embarrassing years, I had a secret. I could barely read. I tried many reading programs. Nothing worked. Then I got hooked on phonics. In 2 months, I went from a 3rd to a 10th grade reading level. Since Hooked on Phonics, I finished trade school and have my own business. If you have a problem with reading, try Hooked on Phonics. It changed my life. It could change yours. Signed, Eric, Zanesville, Ohio.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
My wife and I went to see a marriage counselor, and he told us where to go. I'm just a good old working boy, and I don't make much dough. So when I want to get my money's worth, I know just where to go. Yeah, I know just where to go. And he was right. Sandpiper Seafood had the answer to all my wife's cooking. They served us the best food we ever had. Now me and my wife get along real fine, except that she can't keep her hands off of me. She's always pawing me like a lovesick pup. Sweetheart, will you stop that for just a second? Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood did the trick. Got my marriage back in order, and the food we had was great, but now my wife, woman, stop it. We're going to have to censor this commercial. Now, you best listen to this old boy and follow my good advice. They got what you're looking for at a price that's really nice. Yeah, Sandpiper Seafood, halfway between Goldsboro and Kinston on Highway 70 East and LaGrange. It'll save your marriage.
Knowles Carpet. Your Carpet One store in Goldsboro is giving you lower prices and better service for your home or business. You'll enjoy choosing your carpet from Knowles. Now save up to 50% off all Karastat Oriental rugs in stock. Also save up to 50% off all room size remnants and more. See Knowles Carpet for complete floor products. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 till 5:30 and by appointment. Knowles Carpet, 2311 Way Memorial Drive, Goldsboro. Quality flooring, expertly installed.
It's not the percentage off you get on the merchandise you buy, it's what you pay that counts. Monk's Furniture has revolutionized the way you buy furniture. Low, deeply discounted furniture on sale every day. Salespeople authorized to give on-the-spot discounts. A great selection of name brand furniture in Monk's 22,000 square foot showroom, and a low-key, no-pressure approach to doing business. Monk's calls it shopping the warehouse way. You'll call it a great deal. There's a difference in furniture stores. Monk's Furniture, Highway 70, LaGrange.
Monk's has everything you expect from your furniture store.
Always on the right. This is Rush Limbaugh on Goldsboro's very own WGBR. Your guiding light through times of trouble, confusion, murkiness, despair, tumult, chaos. Rush Limbaugh offering good cheer, offering success. What inroads Woo-hoo-wee! Cellular call, Baker City, Oregon. On his way to the bake sale is George. Hello.
Hey, Rush.
Hi.
From the Oregon Trail over here.
Thank you. Thanks very much, sir.
Yeah, we've been passing caravans of motorhomes going eastward down there for the bake sale.
Caravans of motorhomes, really?
That's right. We pulled over here at the local Mickey D's so we wouldn't go behind any mountains, and we met a doctor full of taking a chartered bus full of kids back home to Idaho, and they're listening to you right now. So say hi.
Well, terrific. I'm glad. When do you expect to arrive?
We probably won't be there till tomorrow morning. We're gonna try to stop off in Cheyenne first or somewhere around there tonight and spend the night there, and then go in to Colorado from there.
Well, I hope you have a great time.
I'm looking much forward to it.
You've seen a lot of people. I mean, there are a lot of people on the highways that you think heading into Fort Collins or heading that direction.
Yes, there's a lot of people. I can't really tell there's not really too many signs hanging out the windows or anything, but a lot of motorhomes, so I can only guess it's them. But they're all honking at us when we pass by them and all that.
You got signs and stuff, did you say?
Oh, yeah, we got signs back here that says we're rushing to dance and things like that.
Hoo-wee. Okay. Well, hey, best of luck. Drive carefully. I want you to get there all right, and again, keep in mind the police department in Fort Collins is doing a yeoman's job. They're prepared for this. I really have been told that they're just doing an outstanding job. They've set up satellite parking lots and shuttle service. Don't expect to be able to drive into town for this. You're going to have to either take the Hoof Express or get one of these shuttle buses that are going to be operating free of charge. I'm amazed at all this. You know, you talk about things. We talk about the profit motive a lot, but you know how many people are doing this gratis or doing this for the cost of whatever it is? My friend Tom Sullivan's chartering the jet, but he's only recouping his cost on it. He's not making any money out of Sacramento. I think that many of the vendors at the bake sale themselves are donating much of their proceeds above their costs to charity. And even though it has been the relentless pursuit of a subscription to my newsletter, $29.95, which has caused all this, there still is so much heartfelt goodwill and genuine desire just to have a good time and get together with people of like mind and interest, that it's also going to have that side benefit. I think people are going to be stunned, A, at the number of people who show. I think they're going to be stunned, B, at who these people are. They're going to be surprised at their age. I mean, they're surprised at the demographic composition. I think they're going to be stunned at how happy these people are, how content and how united in many values these people are. I guess it's going to be a great picture, a great little snapshot of America. Leesburg, Florida, this is Rose. Hello, welcome to the program.
Hello, Rush?
Yes, sir. Or ma'am, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, I'm a woman. I'm responding to your comments about Mr. Clinton's hair.
Yeah.
You already mentioned it 2 or 3 times today on your program.
Which comment?
That he spent so much money for his haircut, and Mrs. Clinton spent so much money for her haircut.
Hey, they have a personal services contract with hairstylists and makeup artists. How many average, real, normal people have that?
Well, he's not a normal people. He's a president.
Oh, but he's trying to say...
Did you ever
there's
read...
hypocrisy here.
Wait, did you read Mrs. Reagan's biography?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Or she carried her hairdresser along on Air Force One when she went to Russia, when she went to England.
Everybody knew that about her. People are stunned that the Clintons would do things.
Well, they're paying for it out of their own money.
That's fine, but up until where do they get the money for this kind of... I'm just talking a little... I don't care that they do it. I'm glad they do it. I'm all for enjoying life. I'm not criticizing them for spending money or having fine hairstylists and pedicurists or whatever you call them. I don't care. I just think it's important to note the hypocrisy. These are people who've been criticizing the rich and criticizing the way they behave and blaming them for the shape the country's in, and look at them.
This is James Whitmore. I want you to meet Gene Daughtridge, the man who grew the 55-pound cantaloupe that's in the Guinness Book of World Records. Gene, how come you always use Miracle-Gro?
Other fertilizers only come in through the roots, and what Miracle-Gro has got on the other fertilizer is it comes through the roots and through the leaves and the stems at the same time, and that makes for a better, healthier plant.
Folks, if world champion gardeners depend on Miracle-Gro, shouldn't you?
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
Good afternoon. At 2:30, it's 74 degrees. I'm Dory Roberts. The Wayne County Legislative Delegation has received some good news on the state's financial picture. The state's general revenue fund collections for the first 10 months of the fiscal year were up nearly $630 million, ahead of comparable figures a year ago. That's an increase of 9.8%. The current fund balance is $285 million more than the balance at the beginning of fiscal year began July 1st. Steps were taken by the legislature and government agencies over the past 2 years have been credited with reversing a negative situation and aiding the state in retaining its top bond rating. The Wayne County Public School System has received high marks for its transportation system. The high ranking entitles the system to full state funding to operate 221 yellow buses this year. The evaluation determines the amount of state dollars the school system will receive to operate the following year. For the current year, Assistant Superintendent Bill Troutman said the bus transportation system is at 100% efficiency. The year before, it operated at 80%. This year, the system is actually transporting more children on the same number of buses as last year. The ranking for efficiency for 1992-93 school year will be announced this fall. The Goldsboro distributor for the world's largest brewer, Jeffrey's Beer and Wine Company, has been awarded the Bronze Award in the Anheuser-Busch Dimensions of Excellence program. The award cites outstanding sales and service to the community. The Dimensions of Excellence program was established in 1979 to provide wholesalers guidelines for successful beer sales. President Patrick Stokes said wholesalers who've excelled in the program have established themselves as leaders in the industry and integral members of their local communities. And more break-ins involving larcenies have occurred on Spence Avenue. The latest victims include Mickey & Company, Avco Financial Services, and the Touch of Class Modeling School. Wilbur's Eastgate also was entered. $340 cash was removed from an employee's pocketbook there. An employee at Avco Financial found a large hole in the east wall. Front doors to all those rooms were pried open or attempts were made to pry them open. There was another entry in larceny, this one at Tar Heel Farm Credit on West Grantham Street, where an attempt was made to pry open a locked vault door. Time for our forecast from the Weather Center.
We've enjoyed bright sunny weather so far this morning, but clouds will develop this afternoon, just like they did yesterday, and there's even the slight chance for a brief sprinkle, especially across the northern counties of North Carolina, highs 67 to 72. It'll become mostly clear tonight. This should be the coldest night of the week with lows 44 to 48 degrees. Saturday looks mostly sunny and milder with highs 72 to 77. I'm Brian Orzel in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Brian. Right now it's 73 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show on WGBR.
Rush Limbaugh.
Screams of pain as the barber got the earlobe of the president. Back to the phones we go to Rose in Leesburg, Florida. I wanted to make sure before we concluded the call that you understood I'm all for them spending money and helping the economy grow and all, but don't be hypocritical about it.
Well, it's just that this constant bashing every day that you do and ridicule this president. You're not giving this man a fair chance.
He doesn't deserve a chance to succeed.
Why,
with
because
this
you're
plan.
Republican?
No, forget that. This plan is a bad plan. I just had one of the most prominent Democrats in the Senate on this show saying what I'm saying. Madam, this is not really. I made a point about saying this yesterday. This is not personal, and it's ideological in the sense that there are differing theories between conservatives and liberals as to how to do things with the economy. But his plan is wrong. This is not bashing. This is genuine criticism.
Well, I don't take it as criticism. I think you're a little prejudiced. Maybe if you went to the hairdresser and had yourself fixed up too, you'd look better too.
Well, I could always stand some improvement, but
yes, you could.
Madam, you cannot hurt my feelings with this. My haircut cost me $38 a week.
Well, that's a lot.
And I tip my stylist, who's a barber, I tip the guy $50 every week.
Well, that's more than the ordinary people could afford, too,
But I don't. Wait a second.
My husband pays $6 for his haircut, and it's a good haircut.
And Perot pays $10 and has for 20 years, and that's fine. That's why Clinton's in trouble. But my problem, I do not sit here and tell you that I don't spend money and that I am one of the people who thinks that the rich are the responsible ones for bringing down this country. Bill Clinton is like all these other people. He lives the life that he doesn't want you to find out about, the life that he criticizes and all that. This is hypocritical, madam. I mean, if the rich are to blame for all this, then he ought to stop acting like he's rich. It's a bad lesson for people. He's giving people bad role model advice here.
Well, I don't think he is. I just wanted to just give you my opinion.
Well, no, I'm glad you called. I'm happy to have a chance to explain what I'm doing.
I've been your listener for so long, but every day I get so riled up at you.
What would you rather have me talk about?
I am going to call you.
Well, I'm glad you did. What would you rather have me talk about?
Pardon?
What would you rather have me talk about?
About the daily problems we have. We're elderly people now. Mm-hmm. We're over 70, and we have to worry if our little money runs out. What are we going to live on? All these things are going to be cut, Medicare and everything. Why don't they cut food stamps? I'm in line in the grocery store with these people paying with food stamps, and they buy super-duper stuff. Never mind the stuff I buy. And we live on Social Security.
I agree with you. I agree. I absolutely do. This food stamp plan's gotten way out of whack. They put out these numbers that 28 million Americans are on food stamps as though they're proud of it or as though they're alarmed. I bet half of them don't need it.
No, not when they drive Cadillacs and road runners, whatever they call that big car. Yeah, I mean, we can't afford that. We're just very ordinary people, but to see them go through that line, buying the stuff they do, it hurts me.
Well, I know.
Okay.
I'm well aware of it. That's why I think that you've been sold a bill of goods. You think you have a president here who cares about the plight you've just described, and it is his policies which are going to cause you to have less. And that's what I think I have more concern for your plight than the people who believe in the president's plan. Anyway, well, I'm glad you called, Rose. We have something you might want to listen to. Our cameras, again, if you haven't heard this, our microphones were on board Air Force One during that hairstyle.
And now, behind the scenes at the Clinton White House.
Tower, this is Air Force One. Hold all traffic. The big guy's getting a haircut.
Yes, Mr. Clinton, I take a little off here, a little off there. You look great. Snip here, snip there.
Sir, here's our new speech. Here, take a look at it.
This stuff's great. Steph, did you write this? All right, let's see. Let's just take it from the top for next Saturday. All right. My fellow Americans, the time has come for change. We have lived in the shadow of our growing deficit problem for far too long. Now, I know the American people were glad to put their trust in me, and do you write all this crap? I mean, come on.
Yes, Mr. Clinton, a couple of these
Man, this is going to be great. Pull it right over.
Cut
Right.
here, I snip here.
Right, one more time.
Beautiful.
My fellow Americans, the time has come for change. We have lived in the shadow of our growing deficit problem for far too long. Now, I know the American people have put their trust in me to reduce this deficit We got to cut this trust thing out. I don't know if I can make it.
It'll be $200, please. Cash or check.
Next, Hillary closes the interstate highway system to get a pedicure as we go inside the Clinton White House.
By the way, the Washington Times has called after they heard my conversation with Kathleen from Cincinnati, where I said there was no national edition of the Washington Times. There really isn't, but they do have a mail service. They will mail a mail subscription. They will mail you the paper. And it's a great, it's really worth reading. If you're really looking for a paper, that a responsible paper is devoted to a conservative point of view. Washington Times is a great read. It really is. It'll stun you. All right, Orlando, Florida. Dan, hello. Welcome to the program. Danny?
Oh my gosh, Danny here. Hello?
Hi, Danny. How are you?
Hey.
Hey, who was that?
That was my sister.
Oh, she's holding the phone for you while you were doing
Yeah, I was getting ready to get a drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So how you been?
I've been fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Listen, I have a comment about Clinton's proposed taxes on the middle class.
Yes.
Okay. Me and my sister were watching whenever he went out there to talk to those college students the other day on TV. We were watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was making, a big deal about, well, hey, he's not taxing the people under $36,000. And I was sitting there going, well, so what? Because, my dad, he makes $50,000 a year, around there. And it's like, what's the difference? And he was saying, that they're going to be paying $17 a month, over a period of time. And it's sort of like...
Look, that $17 is smoke. You've hit the nail on the head. And that is that the Clinton administration looks at $36,000 a year and less as middle class, anything above that as rich. And that's why this $200 haircut stuff isn't going to fly. People believe this stuff. This class envy works because there's a natural resentment amongst the middle class for the upper class, some of them in the middle class. And there's resentment even within the upper classes for people that are even higher on the scale. It's natural. It's part of human nature. When you go out and exploit that, and when you purposely get people warring with one another over that, that's what I think is hideous, and I think that's what they're doing here. And then all of a sudden you find out that the guy you think is your champion is in reality living a life like that he criticizes. Your eyes open. And I'm amazed that this stuff continues to work. It's one of the, I'm continually amazed after all the progress that's been made in society. I'm still amazed that there are people who believe that Congress is better able to devise ways of raising your children than you are. Daycare centers. You're for federal daycare. You want Congress to pass laws as to who can work at daycare centers, how much they're going to cost, where they're going to be. It's amazing to me. It's absolutely amazing. I would think that there would be no support for that among thinking, engaged folk. And the same thing with this class envy business, but it's one of those things that's automatic. It just works shamelessly so. Anyway, I'm glad you called. We've got a break. Back with more in a minute.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
There are a lot of conservatives out there, a lot of conservatives like me on radio, a lot of conservatives on TV, and a lot of conservatives who write what they think. So, what's the definitive source of conservative thought? Other than me? Why, my friends, it's the Conservative Chronicle. This is a weekly publication. You get 52 issues a year. It's only $39. You know what it is? It's the epitome of the heart of conservatism. All the nationally syndicated conservative columnists in this country and their work reprinted in this publication every week. There's no single source, no better source you can refer to. If you keep every issue, You are building a database that's accessible by a very detailed table of contents of some of the finest, profound conservatism ever assembled. The Conservative Chronicle, $39 a year. Here's the number to call, 800-888-3039. That's 1-800-888-3039. Call them now.
Ever wished you could find a car dealer who would give you fair prices and courteous service? Ever heard of Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes in Goldsboro? Ever been there? You need to go there, to Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes, because that's what you'll get and more. At Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro, you'll find a large selection of new Buick cars, a large selection of new GMC trucks and vans, and a large selection of Mercedes-Benz cars. Say you're not looking for a new car? At Courtesy, you'll also find the area's largest selection of program cars. You know the ones. They're used cars sold to the dealer by the manufacturer, and most still have some factory warranty left. Prices on these cars start as low as $64.50, and that includes automatic transmission and air conditioning. Say you're not looking for a car at all? Well, at Courtesy Buick GMC Truck Mercedes can still help. They rate their customer service department second to none. With their factory-trained technicians, they can offer routine maintenance and major repairs at substantial savings. So if you're looking for a car or truck, or just need your present car serviced, go by Courtesy Buick GMC Mercedes today and visit with some of the nicest folks you'll ever meet.
The 18th anniversary sale of Nahana Pork Center is May 14th through the 22nd. Stock up on delicious Nahana pork products. A pound of barbecue, buy one, get one free. Smoked bacon, buy a package, get one free. Smoked sausage, 10 pounds, 99 cents a pound. Get free barbecue sandwiches Thursday and Friday till 4 p.m. and on Saturdays till 2 p.m. Nahana Pork Center's 18th anniversary sale open Monday through Friday till 5:30 and Saturdays till 3 p.m. In northwestern Wayne County from Highway 70 or 581. Just follow the big yellow signs that say Nahana Pork Center.
All About Travel is your official Walt Disney World headquarters. Call now for Disney's Festival Magic Package, which includes 4 nights hotel accommodations at either the Caribbean Beach Hotel, the Port Orleans Hotel, or the Dixie Landing Hotel, and admission to all of the parks in Disney. Prices start at just $371 per adult, so get your reservations now. Call 751-0464. All About Travel in Cobblestone Place. All About Travel, what travel is all about.
With half his brain tied behind his back, here's more Rush on 1150 WGBR.
Back to the phones we go. Phone number on Open Line Friday is 1-800-282-2882 to Stratford, Missouri, and Donna. Hi.
Hi. You don't get buzzed for saying morally outraged, do you?
I don't get what?
We don't get buzzed for saying morally outraged.
Oh, no. Those are not buzzwords.
Oh, good. Well, I am morally outraged over this. Oh, not only the tarmac trim, but this deal over the Travel Bureau.
Oh, that is a major thing, or an interesting thing, because just all of a sudden, look at what I found. Well, I found a second cousin to administer $1.7 million in travel bills.
Really? What really got me is they're putting out the ruse that they were scouring ways to lower costs and expenses and all that. And I had heard a blurb this morning, and I don't know if you have or can verify that. One of your favorite buddies, Linda Bloodsworth Thomason, and her hubby brought it to their attention. Are we helping them getting discounts?
Well, no. Here's what happened. There's a story. It's all in all the papers. Harry Thomason, who is a friend of the president's. He's married to Linda Bloodworth Thomason. Harry, the story is now. Let me find it. The story is that Harry complained that the White House Travel Office was not taking bids from competing charter companies and airlines, and so there was not an effort, there was not an attempt being made by the White House to save money and to spread some of this around, and apparently that was instrumental or part of the reason why the president acted. No, I don't know that Harry Thomason calls it, hey, I want a piece of the action. Why don't you let me, I don't think it happens that way. I haven't gotten that cynical yet. But I do think that there are people, and I'm not going to put Harry Thomason in this category, because I don't know Harry Thomason. I know his wife. I've spoken to her, and I have nothing bad to say about them, and I don't want to get into that. But I do know this, that there are throughout the political spectrum, there are people who want to get into office simply because it's their turn to get their hands on the goodies. And I think that there's enough evidence to suggest here that this administration is not concerned about the appearance of impropriety in either the First Lady's financial investments. You know, she had investments in 10 healthcare companies, and here she is in charge of healthcare. And there's nothing we can do about it because she's not a government employee. There's no ethical standard against which to measure her or to hold her to. She's not an employee of government. Now we got this White House travel thing. And I just remember that the appearance of impropriety is something that liberals love to talk about during the Reagan administration when discussing Ed Meese and other people. And I think it ought to be applied here. I think the same thing ought to be looked at here.
I agree.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Donna.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks very much. Who's next? Who do you say next we should go to on this show? Camp Pendleton, California. This is Mike. Hello. Welcome to the program.
Yes. How you doing, Rush?
Pretty good. Thank you.
Welcome, or dittos from the bastion of military security out here.
Thank you, sir.
I guess everything's going pretty good with Dan's bake sale out there. I wish I could make it.
I wish you could, too.
But not going to happen. However, the thing I was concerned about, and this is something I've noticed from back when the campaign was going on, being in the Marine Corps, we pride ourselves on our leadership, going down to the lowest level. And it just doesn't seem to be reflected at the highest levels of military leadership, like our commander-in-chief. Things that we pride ourselves on, like decisiveness, tactfulness, knowledge. I mean, he keeps blaming the Republicans for the debt, but in high school I learned that the House is responsible for spending money in the government. And that's been controlled by Democrats for years, as far as I know.
Right.
And, just along the line, decisiveness. We keep waffling on the Bosnia thing. And down here at the level I'm at, we keep wondering what's going on. And it just gives me a real bad feeling. And I've got 5 years to retire, and I hope that I can make it that far.
Well, we wish you the best. This is, I think, an attitude that's felt by many in the military. I mean, every day you just hear more and more. The evidence just piles in. Rick, Mike, thank you for the call. Another quick break. Back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
A taxi?
Practice.
Oh, right.
How do you get to Mexico?
Practicar.
How do you get to Paris?
Pratiquer, exercer.
Berlin?
Praktizieren, üben, drillen.
How do you get anywhere in this world?
National Dynamics speed tapes.
Just listen to the tapes for 20 minutes a day.
Practice.
Soon you'll speak Spanish, French, German.
How do you get to Tokyo?
Keiko Ushimasu.
And how do you get to National Dynamics?
1-800-545-1985.
Right, 1-800-545-1985. 1-800-545-1985.
Courtyard by Marriott asks business travelers how long their work week is. 40 hours? Try 80 or more. So the last thing they want is to work weekends, and that's something you can take advantage of. Courtyard has weekend rates of $44 to $54 Thursday through Sunday at participating locations through October 3rd. Rooms are limited and restrictions apply. So take advantage of the fact that business travelers hate to work weekends. Call your travel agent or 800-321-2211. Reserve 3 days in advance. Courtyard, the hotel designed by business travelers.
Wednesday, May 26th is the last day of operations for Bobby Denny Furniture's Goldsboro store. And the last day you'll have the chance to take advantage of rock-bottom liquidation prices on famous name brand merchandise. Bobby Denny Furniture of Goldsboro has lost their lease and must sell their present inventory at whatever price it takes to move it. Save on ranges, $225, living room suits, $597, automatic washers, $238, console TV with remote, $387, solid wood bedroom suits, $496, dryers, $188, stereos, $88, 4-drawer chest, $29. Everything's got to go at whatever price it takes to move it. And if you don't like our prices, make an offer, because cash talks. All sales are final. Merchandise must be removed within 24 hours of purchase. Financing program available, 90 days, same as cash and no money down. Don't forget, Wednesday, May 26th is the last day for Bobby Denny Furniture's complete liquidation sale of the Goldsboro store. Don't miss it. Take advantage of these savings now at Bobby Denny Furniture of Goldsboro.
It's May savings now at Leaders in downtown Goldsboro. Save on their entire stock of ladies' cocktail, evening wear, and prom dresses. 30% off the regular price. All remaining Fieldcrest towels, one-half price. Save 30% on Leaders' entire stock of men's swimwear, too. And enjoy savings in all the other departments during the May savings sale at Leaders, 126 West Walnut Street, downtown Goldsboro.
The annual spring sale at Scott Motor Company has been so successful it's been extended to May 22nd with rebates up to $2,000 on selected cars, low finance rates available. Just received a brand new shipment of brand new cars. That means the car you're going to buy is in stock. How about a 93 Grand Am SE, just $12,686.44 tax and tags extra dealer retained rebate. Call Scott Motor Company 736-3401 or toll free 1-800-951-SCOTT. Selling and servicing fine motor cars since 1922. Scott Motor Company, Highway 70 bypass East, Goldsboro.
Now, more of the Rush Limbaugh Show on 1150 WGBR.
We can squeeze in a couple more calls here before it's time to pack our bags, and what's left of the EIB staff here in New York wings its way to Fort Collins tonight. This afternoon, Bo Snerdley, Diana Schneider, and Lo Bianco will be leaving the greater New York metropolitan area at an undisclosed time from an undisclosed airport this afternoon and arriving at an undisclosed time at an undisclosed airport in Colorado later today, where they will then be traveling by undisclosed mode of transportation to an undisclosed hotel by an undisclosed route to Fort Collins, Colorado. Lo Bianco is excited. When he got excited, you know, when Lo Bianco normally speaks, "Hey, Rush, you have a picture?" When Lo Bianco gets excited, "Gee, Rush, thanks for taking me." Here we go to Blacksburg, Virginia. Brad, hello, welcome to the EIB Network.
Hey, Rush.
Hi.
Ditto's from Blacksburg.
Thank you.
It's tough being a college student and being conservative.
Yes, it is, but let me tell you something. Don't compromise your principles, even no matter how the pressure mounts, no matter how much intimidation, because you're going to learn a great lesson from Bill Clinton on this. Stick to your principles, and eventually they'll have your respect. They may never agree with you, but they'll have your respect, and that's the time you are most able to be persuasive. So don't cash in your chips on your principles.
Nah. No, it's great because I'm in summer school now, and I finally arranged my schedule so I can hear your radio show.
Way to go. Way to go. We need to get you course credit for this.
Yeah, it actually has become a third class in my day. I go from class to 8 to 11, turn on, rush back here, get back here at 12, get some lunch.
Hey.
I even start taking notes now just so I can get my thoughts straight, because you always get my mind rolling on other things I start thinking about.
Great.
I've been writing up stuff everywhere. My word processors are getting the work out.
Well, that's good. That's what it's meant for.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, keep up the good work.
Will do. I will. I'm flattered that you called. It's a compliment. I appreciate your giving it to me.
And I'll keep writing. Hopefully you'll hear more from it.
Okay. See you, Brad. He'll get a CompuServe account soon. He will. It'll happen. In the bag. Flanders, New Jersey. Ann, hello.
Mega Ditto from Morris County, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Just want to briefly give you a thumbnail sketch of one of the people that the president refers to as rich. My husband makes $205,000 a year, but he's earned that salary after working 28 years with a law firm. And very quickly, he went to law school on a GI Bill after serving 3 years in the Army and taking advantage of the GI Bill, worked during the day in a bank, and went to law school 4 nights a week for 4 years, and has performed and worked hard and deserves every nickel he makes. I want to tell all those envious people out there that if the president takes more of our tax money, there's a new car we're not going to buy, okay? There's a trips we're not going to take, clothes we're not going to buy, and so forth.
It's only because you're selfish. You know what? You ought to follow the president's leadership on this. Try to do with less.